And we are back here with another video today. Today we are looking at the Wake Forest Demon Deacons as Jake Dickert is back for his second year at Wake Forest to see if he can improve on what he did last year with the program. 9-4, a fantastic first year for Coach Dickert and the Wake Forest squad to see if they can improve on that. That's going to be tough to improve on, but the offense looks to get into a good position, struggling to consistently score last year, but not bringing back a whole lot of production. Is that a benefit or is that a downside? Sometimes that can be an advantage and sometimes that can be a disadvantage with continuity. But welcome to the Football Expert. My name is Reichley Ruby, and thank you all for joining me here today. Our goal is 6,600 subscribers by the end of July. So hit that subscribe button down below. Join the community of fellow football fans. Like the video if you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think about Wake Forest. What do you think their record will be? What do you think about this program going into its second year? Do you think that they're going to have a little bit of a decline, or do you think that they're going to continue to get better under Coach Dickert? And with that all being said, we get straight into the preview here today. Looking at the first game on the schedule, we see Akron. This shouldn't be a problem for this Wake Forest team. Honestly, Akron, they haven't been as bad as they were in years past, but this should be an easy win, no problem. Then second game on the road against Purdue. I see this as a win. I see Purdue as honestly one of the worst Power 4 teams. I think Boston College may be worse than them, but Purdue is on that competition there. Gio Lopez, now the starting quarterback at Wake Forest after transferring in from Southern Alabama, had a productive season, pretty accurate with the ball, but did struggle in terms of being up and down in his consistency of being able, not just like he got it to the right place. It was a lot of short passes, not a lot of deep passes down the field. One of the biggest things with this squad last year was Robbie Ashford is the quarterback, went 12-8 interception to touchdown ratio, 2,472 yards through there, which isn't horrible. Did have an additional 500 on the ground rushing. But the problem was his under 60% completion percentage. In modern college football, that's just kind of unacceptable. You can't have below 60% completion percentage. So that's one of the things that I look for then this year is to see if you can get a little bit more accurate placement of the ball overall. So heading into the next game is a home game against Miami. This is a Friday night game, in fact. Very interesting timing. I do like that it's on a Friday night. It could give Miami some issues here. A short week already, then traveling to Wake Forest, which isn't a big distance, but traveling up there and then finally getting into the rhythm of things. So, but I think that one of the things I could see in this game with Wake Forest is that Coach is that Jake Dickert is very good against the spread as a home underdog. In fact, he is 7-2 all time against the spread. So I think that this game is going to be closer than some people think it is. But I do think that they will have some issues. I think basically my guess, if I had to do a score prediction, would be like 31-21. I think that Wake Forest gets some points on the board, but eventually Miami kind of pulls away at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. I think this defense for Wake Forest is going to be very good. 7 returning starters, a pretty good unit in and of itself. Last year, only allowing 22 points a game. But the problem is that where's the offense going to be at in a game like this? Only 22 points per game in a conference setting. The problem with that is that you had just weird games where a Florida State road game, and Florida State was not the greatest team last year, obviously, lost 42-7. Like, where's the offense in that? Also, where's the defense? But that's neither here nor there. Georgia Tech, 29-30. That wasn't a horrible game, lost in overtime, and 34-24 against NC State. That wasn't bad. But the problem is you had a 7-point win over Virginia Tech, which was a good win. But then you have a 1-point win over SMU and a 7-point win over Virginia and a 16-point win over North Carolina. That's not too bad. But the problem is a lot of the games that were close went just in the advantage of Wake Forest. And I could see some of these turn against them in this year. Or I should say for this year. So with that being said, I see this kind of in this game against Louisville on the road. I think Louisville is a better team, probably on par with where Georgia Tech is as a program. So I think that Wake Forest could probably keep it close defensively, but I think they do win that game. Then they play Stanford at home. I do think that this is a win for the Deacons. I think that they get off to a good start against the Stanford team and have a win. It also helps that they don't have to be the ones coming across the country. Then road game against blanking NC State. Road game, a close rival against Wake Forest. And I think that this is going to be a pretty back and forth game. CJ Bailey, the quarterback extraordinaire at NC State. The problem is that Hollywood Smothers is no longer there as the running back at NC State. So Dave Doran and crew will have to replace his production, which is going to be incredibly difficult, to be frankly honest. But the problem is does Wake Forest have the ability to put points on the board early and quickly? That's where I'm looking for. Honestly, you could see it in Jamar Sears, the redshirt freshman running back who played well did well in the spring game this year. I thought he played pretty well in the spring game. The problem is with this type of game, you're going to need to be able to get points early, and I think that they do in this game. I think that they take advantage of the issues with NC State secondary after some transfers leaving. So I think that they get the win there. But I'm going to say that the offense that Cal has, they're going to play Cal on the road next. The offense that Cal has, this is where that offensive momentum problem is going to appear. And I think that this game's going to go against them. And I think that the great play there from that, I think, is going to be the important part of where this team is at. I think that the quarterback spot for California with that quarterback who I cannot pronounce his name. I'm trying to work on that one before I do my Cal prediction. But I think that this is going to be a win here for Cal, loss to Wake Forest, followed by a home game against Virginia. After the Virginia win last year, I think Virginia is going to take a step back as a program versus Wake Forest, who I think is also going to take a step back record-wise. But I don't think they're going to take a step back in terms of talent. I think that they're going to slowly build. I think last year they just had so many games just barely going in their favor that they need to take advantage. That they're not going to be as bad or as good as they were last year record-wise, but they're not going to be as bad as they were before. So they get a win there over Virginia. I just think that's just kind of a vibes thing. I could not tell you why, but I just have a feeling they get a win over there. Win over Merrimack, I think that's an easy win, no problems, easy win. Then a road game against SMU, that's going to be a tough one. It's one of those games that I think just the talent of Kevin Jennings, I could see some struggles from the Wake Forest defense to really contain a guy like Kevin Jennings. So I have that as a loss, followed up by a loss against Georgia Tech. I think that this is another tough game. Alberto Mendoza, along with the transfers coming in at wide receiver, the wide receiver from Elon, and then the defensive pieces that they have. I really like where Georgia Tech's building, really like where Brent Key's at. I think he's just a little more advanced in his program rebuild compared to where Jake Dickert is. So I have that as a loss. Final game of the season is a home game against Duke. And I see this as a complete 50-50 game, to be frankly honest. I could see Duke winning it. I could see Wake Forest winning it. And even though it is a home game for Wake Forest, I'm going to trust Manny Diaz here at home or going on the road a little bit more. I think that Duke gets a win there. And I think that comes down to, I really think Manny Diaz, I've seen a little bit more from him as a head coach and developing players. And I think he kind of got the short end of the stick at Miami. And some people kind of underrated that. So I see that as a loss for Wake Forest, finishing out the year 6-6 overall, 3-6 in conference play. So a bit of a step back, like I said, record-wise. But I do think that this Wake Forest team and Jake Dickert, give them a chance here in season 3, because I could really see a step up in season 3 for Wake Forest after this year. We'll see what ends up happening, whether I'm wrong or right. But as always, hit one of the 2 videos down below. One will be a playlist of all my podcast, and then hit the subscribe button up here. Hope you have a great rest of your day.